Back in March of 2003, many of us remember sitting around and watching TV to find out that the United States had fired their first strikes on Iraq. This was the first war that we were old enough to know what was going on. We had seen the events of 9/11 2 years before, and we lived that. However, when we think about it, why are we fighting against Iraq? What did Saddam Hussein do to us to make us go over there? Did we just go on a hunch that they did have weapons of mass destruction? Are we staying too long? Is the war over? Is the job done? Why are we still there? There are many gray areas on this matter. When we sit down to think about it, why did we go to Iraq? We have to look back to the first George Bush in his term when he sent his troops over to Iraq to fight. This led over to Bill Clinton, our next president. Him and his officials, along with other countries' government officials, had a hunch that Saddam Hussein and Iraq held weapons of mass destruction. This was reported by Paul Pillar in an article found on CNN.com. Pillar also went on to say that George W. Bush, our latest president before Obama, went to war with Iraq to shake power in the Middle East. With that said, was it our fight in the first place? Did we really need to be over there? The answer is yes. With the state that the world was in at that time, after the strikes of 9/11, any signs of terrorism we needed to try to solve. And at that point, a weapons of mass destruction and a huge collection of them is definitely a point of terrorism. At any point, just like with 9/11, we never knew that that was going to happen. Yes, there were a few signs, but none too many to count that we should have been that worried. That could happen with the weapons of mass destruction. There might be signs, but we never knew that that could happen. And if one weapon of mass destruction is sent off, that's a huge effect on everybody else. If it's a nuclear weapon, then that gets in the air, and who knows what could happen. While we're over there, we captured and killed Saddam Hussein and some of his government officials. So basically, we took down his dictatorship and are trying to rebuild his government. But since we killed him, why are we over there? In an interview conducted with Dr. Michael Cairo, he answered this by saying, "We went over there and created a mess, so we have to help rebuild it. However, we should hand over some of the responsibility in rebuilding this mess." And this mess he's talking about is the Iraqi government. With that said, the Iraqi president, Saddam Hussein, was captured and killed, along with some of his government officials, basically taking down the head of their government, which means they have no government. So our troops are over there trying to fight and protect to help rebuild their government. In the big picture, how has this affected America? Well, first, we no longer have to worry about Saddam Hussein since we captured him and killed him. We no longer have to worry about his government and his weapons of mass destruction. However, when there's good, there's also bad. And the bad has affected us in effects of the death toll. The death toll for this war is incredible. According to globalsecurities.org, 4,279 soldiers have died, while 30,182 have been reported injured. This is since the first attack in March of 2003 until today. Now, this doesn't include what happened last week with Fort Hood. Even in this month, 6 people have died, and we're 10 days into this month. This is terrible. We've done the job. We've captured Saddam, and we've killed him, and we've took care of the government, but we're still losing guys and girls who are fighting for our country left and right. At some point, we're going to have to put our foot down and get our men and women out of there before we lose everybody. The war in Iraq was motivated by instinct, weapons of mass destruction, and the pure determination to go over there and handle the situation. Our stay may be a little overdue. Yes, we have done what we wanted to do. We went in there and we've changed the government, but now we are rebuilding it. How much are we going to rebuild it? That's a question that is still being debated on today. We're trying to clean up the mess that we built, like I said earlier. But since the first strike till today, we have killed Saddam and changed the government, but we have lost way too many people. In my opinion, the job is done, and we need to get our troops back home.